Okay, so this is a 1965 model, and let me open up the hood. This is the 1.8, has upgraded Webers on it because a buddy of mine had this car. This originally had side draft Solexes, and then there's actually a big airbox here, which we'll show it in later videos. I have it getting powder coated right now. There's a really special airbox that these run. The one thing I'll point out is that these particular cars run a very similar motor in all of them. They're all just different displacement. There's a 1500, 1600, 1800. They actually go after this model, and after the TISA was made, there's a 2000 and a 2000 Ti. And the 2000 Ti is the famous Hubert Hahn car that was won like Spa 24 Hour and won all those cars. And you can actually see it in the BMW museum when you go in Munich. They have the original car there. And it's Bristol Gray, which is a super cool car. This car originally was Polaris Silver, which silver in the 60s was the German race color. Countries had colors that they used to race. France had blue, Italy had red, Germany had silver. A lot of these 1800 Ti's were silver. I've actually had other cars. I had a car that was all original. I bought from the original owner who was 96 years old, and his car was a darker gray that he had painted over in silver because he wanted to have the race color that the race cars had. So I'll go over here and open up this door so we can talk about the interior. So this is the sport interior that I talked about, the black and red. 1800s and the TIs, a lot of them had a wood dash. There's also cars that have kind of like an ostrich look interior as well. Some of these had radios, some of them did not. This is a 4-speed, like I mentioned, 4-speed here. These cars were really cool in the day, and they really got a lot of praise for the visibility. I mean, this is like a fishbowl in here, and the seating position is you can really see out of the car. You can see a lot of what's going on. The other praise they got was the trunk and the back seat room. We'll go into the back, kind of show you. It's a standard bench. One of the things you guys probably would notice is that there's no seat belts in the car. These cars didn't come with seat belts originally. Seat belts were kind of a newfangled thing. I will be putting seat belts in the car. There's actually some really neat period seat belt kind of options that you can do, which we'll be doing. But the sport interiors here, this is an all original car. Like I mentioned, I'll tell that story in the new video when we make it. The other thing I'll show you guys is the trunk. I don't really care about the trunk space, but they're huge. I mean, I literally could put my golf clubs in here. I literally could put Dan in here when he annoys me. It works out. So I just want to kind of show you guys those details. The other thing I'll show you guys is there's an original California State Automobile Association sticker from the 60s that's on this bumper, which we'll show you on the B-roll, which I kept. The way this car looks, it didn't used to look like this. It had a lot more rust, which I didn't like. It was too far gone for me. The guys at Dryce, a lot of people know Scott Ailes at Dryce Nation and the Dryce Man. He actually dry iced the whole car, and he actually treated this to remove the rust color brown from most of these panels because of where it's sitting. So I'm super happy with that. If you notice the gaps here, if you notice some of this stuff, I mean, these panels have never been off the car. They've never been replaced. They're original panels. That's one of the things that's cool about this car.
With this particular car, it was important to me to keep it the way it was found in San Jose after it had sat for 40 years, but I wanted to clean it up and make it a nice car, but keep that age and patina on the outside. When you open up the hood, once we have the new motor in here, once we have the new carpet, once the interior is the updated interior from the other car that I mentioned, it's going to be a nice interior car. Car's going to run well. It's going to be safe, but it's going to be a neat original patina car. I probably will never fully restore it. I don't want to have a super nice brand new car. I want to be able to drive it. I want to be able to use it. That's an important part with the classic stuff, is being able to use it and share the car with others. There's a drive called the Kustenfahrt, which we do, which is from Southern California. It goes all the way up to Monterey, up the coast and the Pacific Coast Highway and all of that. And we do the drive with other guys with NKs and E9s, you name it, go on the drive. And part of that drive is pictures along the way all together of the cars driving together. The other cool part is being able to share your build with the other people with similar cars. There might be another 1800 Ti there, but it's not going to be like this one with this patina. That was a crucial thing for me and why I wanted to pick up this particular car. The other part that was important to me was the modifications stay period correct with the car. That means the rest all seats that are going in the car. I have an original TISA steering wheel. I have a set of original TISA wheels, which look like a standard steel wheel, but they're actually a wider and different offset wheel for those racing for the homologation at the time. The build will be much like a TISA because because the TISA car was homologated as a touring car. So it had to have glass, it had to have a spare tire, it had to have a full interior, it had to have all the things that you would see in kind of a car that you can drive to the track, race it, and drive back. And that was a requirement for the class. So this car will have all of those things just like the TISA had. And I'm going to show you guys in a later video. One of my good friends has a TISA that he picked up. We'll be able to show the differences in that car, the special nature to some of the pieces on those cars, and what makes it different from this one, but also makes it the same. That'll be a video for in the future. So that pretty much sums up the second video on the 1800 Ti. These two videos are meant to kind of establish this car and the modifications that we're going to do. We're going to make multiple videos about the motor going in, the interior going in, and then the finished up car, and then we'll unveil the car at one of the events that I mentioned in the video. But those are coming soon, so make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we're going to be back to regularly scheduled M2 videos next week. You guys have really been following along. We really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time.